are systems or economies of truth. Power and history work through them in ways their authors cannot control, nor their teachers, nor their students, it might be added. They are thrown into a third state, into something Homi Bhabha has termed the migrant metaphor, where realities and truth about stable ethnicities and cultures dissolve. And this is something, this migrant metaphor, that is becoming more and more important, I think. Homi Bhabha wrote this in 94, 95 perhaps, so it's 15 years old. And this question of where is your home? And I think that's something that's quite relevant to the Philippines as well. I was talking to a colleague of mine in the business studies, and he says that his family is of Chinese extraction. So he said his older siblings, actually, they feel their home is in China, whereas the younger siblings, including himself, feel that their home is in the Philippines. And he said now the next generation is going more or less to the States. Now there are Chinese Filipinos going to the States. Where do they see their home? So this question of home or homelessness is one that is being raised more and more in a world that's more and more compressed. It's also, I mean, he asked me as well, where's your home? Because I've looked at a few places, and it's really, really hard to answer for me. I really don't know. I was visiting my parents in December, and I was coming home late from seeing friends, and my parents had gone to sleep already, and I was feeling my way through the house to get to my bedroom. And I was thinking, actually, that this is one way of saying, yes, this is my home. If you can find your way through a darkened house, then this is a strong claim to say, yes, there is at least a certain part of this is definitely your home. Yeah, or the feeling, for me, it's also the feeling when I'm driving close to my parents' house where I grew up, where I have the feeling I physically know the road. You know where to go, you know how the curves feel, and things like that. So there are some elements of that, but then having said that, I've lived most of my life outside of Germany, and there's plenty of other places where I can probably find myself in my bedroom in a deep dark night. But I think there are indicators, and I think the bodily indicators are very, very good ones. They help with that. But of course, they're always open to change. Right, back to the classroom. So this migrant metaphor, well, this has an aspect that can be theorized in the classroom. Its practice by far extends beyond educational institution. This is not to suggest that the UK-US realm of cultural studies is a homogeneous mass either, far from it. Much of cultural studies discourse raises questions about the status of minorities and ethnicities in those countries, and in turn empowers these minorities. However, the practice of international cultural studies encounters further challenges not so easily foreseeable from the inside. And I'll give you an explanation or an example for that. I recently taught a class called Introduction to Cultural Studies at far away, so I've anonymized all this. When I do this similar lecture in Europe, I don't say the names, but I'm far away, so I can say the names of the universities. In Thessaloniki, at Aristotle University in Thessaloniki, northern Greece, which Thessaloniki is the second largest city in Greece after Athens, and their university, in particular their English department, is the #1 English department in the country. They have, it's called the School of English, and within it they have what they call the Department of Translation and Intercultural Studies. So they mix it up there with their local mixes, their local takers, they mix it up with the translations department, which is also an uneasy partnership, but so far it seems to be working. The students I taught were mostly in their third year, and although they had quite a bit of English linguistics and literature, they were rather uninformed when it came to cultural studies. The course consisted of what I would probably at this point call the budding canon of cultural studies, with texts by Stuart Hall, Walter Benjamin, Jürgen Habermas, Michel de Certeau, Jean-François Derrida, Jacques Derrida, and some films by the brothers Quay. They're British animation filmmakers, claymation mostly, really weird stuff. and also a Japanese cult film about metal body modification called Tetsuo. Maybe some of you might know that. It's a pretty grim thing. Anyway, I like that film a lot. I've written about it, and so this is for me. This is my canon. So there you go. Anyway, I had repeatedly shown this film to the students of mine in the U.S. and in the U.K. And now in this public university in northern Greece, all within the remit of cultural studies, and all with reasonably positive outcome. They might have gotten yuck a couple of times, but they nevertheless understood, or I was able to explain to them that fairly easily what this film was about. That it had to do with technoculture, fear of salarymen being replaced, and so on and so on. The film comes from the early 1990s. The Greek Public University I was teaching at then had mostly Greek students and Erasmus exchange students from all over Europe. In my experience, it is especially the exchange students who are drawn to cultural studies courses. Perhaps even more so than the local students, because there's something that sort of mirrors their own experiences, or their own quests of understanding for them foreign culture. I can only theorize, no, I just did theorize that this has to do with the fact that they're, first of all, they're their home institutions, and they don't have to follow a more rigorous curriculum, but also because they feel like courses like that address their needs. So this film went fine there at this university that I was teaching. I was then also asked to teach a course on Introduction to Cultural Studies, or in particular visual studies, at a private institution in a business school in the same university, sorry, in the same city. I again, took out my little canon and presented it to them. Also, this film Tetsuo. I got in a lot of trouble for that. Without talking to me first, you probably know the situation, students went straight to the head of the program and bitterly complained about the film I was showing them. The head of the program, a non-Greek Northern European native, she was French, called me in and told me no, she's a French lawyer actually, and told me no uncertain terms that such a film had no place in the curriculum. She'd never seen a film, of course, and she'd just heard what the students were saying. She carefully told me that I was free to choose the sources I wanted to teach, but not to be caught doing anything controversial. I was told not to do this anymore in that particular course. So this had never happened to me. Somebody told me that you cannot teach a particular text, and I found that to be a little strange. Anyway. It was being written at, yes, but she said, well, she's a lawyer, and she said, well, you're a private institution, we can do whatever we want. You can't. But it was also, it was probably the setting that it was a business school. And the students in the business school were unable to, first of all, it was they had to fulfill two humanities requirements. They had to. Yeah? So they were not the happiest students in my class. There was quite a bit of resistance already, and as much as I tried to loosen them up and say this is really fun and so on, so it's problematic. So although it was the same country, the same city even, it was a different program and different programs. I'll give you another example. While I was living in Thessaloniki, I was also teaching at another college, at the New York College in Skopje. We're in Macedonia, which is one of the new form state out of ex-Yugoslavia. It's a direct northern neighbor to Greece. The country is still struggling to define itself after the breakup of the Yugoslav Union. With strong ethnic minorities, a sometimes uneasy truce has been struck, which allows for tertiary education to slowly pick itself up. The Republic of Macedonia is 1/3 Muslim and 2/3 Christian Orthodox. So there are problems. The public university in Skopje, St. Cyril and Methodi, for the most part, still has to cope with massive underfunding. And I was at a private institution, the New York University School. As I had students from Macedonia already in Greece, I thought that my approach could at least be somewhat similar. So here I go and say, okay, same ethnic background, same sort of setting, I can do the same things. So one of the courses I had taught also